Newsmakers on WKYT. Our next guest is celebrating 50 years of giving people advice about their money. Jack Russell started at Hilliard & Lyons. He headed up the Lexington offices of Dean Winter Reynolds and a branch of J.C. Bradford & Company. That was before founding Russell Capital Management back in 1991. Times have changed since he started his career in 1968, and he's here to talk with us about that. And Jack Russell, welcome. We appreciate you very much coming in today.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
What a milestone. Congratulations. I guess times have changed some since 1968.
They've changed tremendously. The way finance is done, the way stocks are purchased, the way bonds are purchased, the incredible technology that we have today over the lack of technology in 1968, but everybody was on the same playing field in 68, so we didn't know what was to come.
There were just probably a few people at that time buying stocks, right? And they had to go through somebody and make phone calls. I mean, it was
right. It was the buying of stocks was really for people that had a little more assets and had accumulated some money, and there were some profit-sharing accounts, but it was mainly individuals and big retirement accounts of like states and governments.
Yeah. How did the 401ks start to change that? Did that bring sort of a lot of everyday consumers into the market?
It eventually did. At first, the 401k market was, each plan had to be separately designed by a retirement planning attorney. Had to get the accountants involved. It had to be a separate plan just for that company. So it was starting from scratch, every single plan that was designed. So there weren't many companies that could afford to do that. As time went on, we got the ability to have plans that could be a template for other companies, and now it's very easy to open a 401k. And so that when that came about, it let almost every company be involved if they wanted to.
In those early days, people were, they would pick those stocks, right? GE,
right.
Standard Oil, some of the big companies
exactly.
of the day. And then, when you get into this 401k system, then people start being in these funds and sort of decisions are being made that they didn't know so much about. How then did you have to advise people differently?
Well, as a stockbroker, you can't advise the participants on how to, what securities to buy for their 401k. You have to be a fiduciary to do that. Investment managers like our firm, we can do that because we're a fiduciary. But the most funds have a lineup of most 401ks have a lineup of mutual funds that the employees can choose from. That lineup is determined by the trustees. And so I think an awful lot, well, from my experience, an awful lot of people who are participants in 401k plans really are not able to understand the difference between the investments. So they just pick something like a fund that you're retiring this year.
Right, but maybe this sounds good. But what about it? But, risk tolerance. It's different for some people want to be sure that they preserve the capital they have in. There are others that, they want to roll the dice. And so I guess that you're having to tailor those each time, right?
Right. Well, the 401ks, we handle a few 401ks, but not many. Most of the clients that we have in our firm we manage money for are foundations, high net worth clients, and then a lot of just friends and people who are not high net worth. We manage close to 700 million now with, I think we have around 2,500 clients in 37 states.
Things have gone well in the market for the last decade
sure
or so,
have,
and particularly the last few years. The Dow's about tripled since 2008. Has that helped a lot of people?
It has. It has helped almost everyone in our country. Most people are involved in one way or the other in the stock market through their 401ks or through their personal investments or IRAs, and the companies they work for, their well-being has increased. So, and that secures their job better. So it's really been a boon for everyone in our country.
You have spent 50 years wondering what the future is, right? so,
Wondering is the right word.
If you look ahead and you tell people to start thinking about their retirements early and so forth, what advice do you have these days?
Start as early as you can. I don't care if it's $25 a month. Start as early as you can. I'll give you an example. I had a client back when I was in the brokerage business who came to me, and he was a policeman. And he said, I have got to start saving money for my children's education. He was just a rookie policeman. And so he started, I got him, same thing I was doing at the time, putting $50 a month in a mutual fund. Well, he did that. It hurt him. I mean, that was a big amount of money for him. And then about 10 years later, he increased it to $100 a month. His children, he got scholarships. He didn't need to get any of the money for their benefit. He never took any money out. When he died a couple of years ago, he had $1 million.
Wow, yeah.
And that's the power of compounding. So start as early as you can with as small amount as you can possibly do if you have to.
Even if it's a meager, modest amount.
Right. Don't be embarrassed about it or anything. Just do it.
What has it been like to be in business in Lexington for all of these years?
Oh,
this town has grown and changed, huh?
It's still small as far as I'm concerned, but it's been a wonderful place to work. I've had a lot of opportunity to move other places and in the investment business, and haven't done it. When I started in the business, in your introduction, you said I started at Hilliard's. I really started at a firm called Olmsted Brothers. And it was on the corner of Esplanade and Short Street in a really beautiful building there that's now the parking lot for the bank across from the Lexington Club. And I started there, and they were caught up in the extreme volume of that. They put a lot of people out of business, like Goodbody, and Olmsted went out of business. So at that point, I went with Hilliard's.
That's right. Yeah. Well, thank you for this peek back in time and look ahead. You gave us some great advice as well.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yes,
I really enjoyed it.
Thank
It's been
you.
a great opportunity.
Thank you for being here for WKYT's Kentucky Newsmakers. We'll see you bright and early this week on WKYT This Morning. Make it a good week ahead.